The sister-in-law of a woman who died from cancer after inhaling asbestos says she's disappointed that ACC is appealing a High Court decision to have her expensive bills paid. Now, Deanna Trevarthen inhaled the deadly asbestos as a child at her father's workplace and at home. He was an electrician and she would visit the workplace to play and would hug him and his contaminated clothing. She died at the age of 45 in 2016 after her battle with cancer and ACC. ACC had argued she wasn't covered because she hadn't contracted the disease as a result of her own work. But last month, the High Court dismissed that argument, ruling that her illness was a result of inhaling asbestos fibres and that was a personal injury caused by an accident. Angela Culver is Deanna's sister-in-law and says the family raised $8,000 every 3 weeks to pay for the drug Keytruda, just to extend Deanna's life before the mesothelioma won out. Angela says she was dancing for joy at last month's court decision, but for now, that's been put off.
It's really disappointing, actually. Yeah, I mean, the whole thing with asbestos exposure is quite unfair as it sits at the moment. Not unfair, unjust. And, to have argued the law within the ACC Act and have had a judge who's quite considered in these matters come out with a large judgment, which was pretty complete. And now ACC are appealing. It's just really disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, the legal minds around the country detached from the personal circumstances of this might be interested at what the Court of Appeal is going to decide in terms of it being a real test case. But this is personal for you, and you had it in your favour, and that was after a long battle and an expensive one as well. So there is a lot riding on this, isn't there?
There is, and we've been very lucky with John Miller Law. They have been great. But at the end of the day, we're going to have to take a very considered decision now, because ACC have plenty of resource and cash in the bank. That's not the case for us. So we've got a few decisions to make from here. But they have to apply for leave to appeal, and that goes to the High Court. And they review on what grounds ACC are appealing, and ACC will be granted leave to appeal or not. So there's another step. There's lots of steps in this process. It's great when the steps go your way and you can do a little dance, and not so great on other days. The thing with mesothelioma that makes it quite specific is you have to have accidentally inhaled asbestos fibres to get mesothelioma. So it is a disease, but it's not a typical disease.
That's right. I think they said there were two steps to it.
It comes back to even to me for, one of the things that Labor said in their pre-election papers was that they would look at changing the ACC Act to cover secondary asbestos exposure, because it is going to be a problem for our country, which is why we decided to carry on when when Labor haven't changed the ACC Act. There's many components to this, and mesothelioma is a very different disease to many other diseases, and
different from even I think what they call the other significant disease with people who are exposed to asbestosis, or whatever it's called. But I think it's that asbestosis. Thanks, because there's that, as you say, a secondary element. One is the asbestos being lodged there in the lung, and the secondary effect is that type of lung cancer that can develop from it. And of course, that's what Deanna contracted, and that's what she died from. I wanted to ask you, what's happened since the decision? Had you been paid out in any way? I mean, you were paying $8,000 every 3 weeks for Keytruda. I mean, have you received anything since the decision?
No.
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 So there's a bit of a nervous wait now, really, for this court case. But from the tone we're getting from you, you're not so certain you're going to be able to, if they do get leave to appeal, you're not so certain you're going to be there.
Look, I have to consider it. I've got 2 kids. We've been working with John Miller Law, and they've been great. We have to throw all of this up in the air and understand the costs of going to the Court of Appeal. But on the other hand, like I said last time, I made a promise to Deanna that I would see this through and get this changed for all of the people that couldn't afford $8,000 every 3 weeks. For all of the people that, in good faith, hugged their dad or went on their worksite or washed the dad's clothes, or the mum that was on the worksite. After the Christchurch earthquakes, we've got so much asbestos in our schools. Aftershocks, it takes one fibre, and no one would run around inhaling this stuff on purpose. So it is accidental inhalation of asbestos, which directly causes mesothelioma. And I promised Dee I would fight the fight. She didn't want anyone else to have to deal with this. Deanna was very giving, honest, beautiful woman. Yeah.
That's Angela Calver. She's the sister-in-law of Deanna Trevarthen, and she says she's fighting on for Deanna as well as all those others seeking cover for asbestos-related diseases that could be classified, and should be, as accidents. The High Court will first consider the application from ACC and decide whether it will give the agency leave to head to the Court of Appeal.